Welcome back to my channel, everyone. So in this video I'm going to show you how I transformed this sweet and innocent Yamaha QT50 into a rugged looking mean machine with big fat knobbly tyres. Let's start with the day I picked it up. I'm currently driving over to go and collect a Yamaha QT50. It's a 1988 plate one. I couldn't help myself. I love old retro things, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy this. Just a tiny project for a laugh, and also have a bit of fun in the summer with. Right, here is the old girl. Now, the bike does start and run. There is a few things that need sorting. Basically, the indicators, these don't work at all. There's also the headlights apparently don't work. The air filter needs putting back on, but it is in the back box. I've got to, this back box is brilliant. It's got to come off though, because it looks absolutely terrible. Obviously got the air box there, so I can get that back on at some point. Got the wing mirrors in there. We've also got, I think that is the throttle cable. Now, the weird thing is, the bike has only done 4,351 miles. It last had its MOT in March 2017, and it only done 70 miles less than that, and it passed. So there can't be that much in order to get it for another MOT. So yeah, this is it. Pretty happy with it. I mean, it ain't the best looking bike ever, but I tell you what, I think it's pretty cool. So I'm quite excited to get it back up and running properly. And this is what I thought was quite funny. Under here, put your oil there. This is how retro it is. Fuel gauge there. Got a little levelling thing which goes left to right, so you can see how much fuel it's got. Proper old school. And obviously put your fuel in there. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Can't wait to get it going. So after testing the battery, it turned out it was flat. So I went and got a new one. Also, the air filter needed cleaning, so we got that sorted at the same time. Just dropped a new battery in. This one is actually a lot thicker than the old one. Looks like we've got a lot of oxidation or something going on inside of this connector strip. So this is for the positive on the bike. I'm going to cut that back, put a new terminal end on it. I'm just hoping that we do get a runner. Right, battery's in there like swimwear. She fired up nice. Indicators work, stop and tail works. The only thing that don't work is a headlight. I think it needs a new bulb. Air filter's back on. Just got to find a bolt for that, and then she'll be secured. Managed to find a bolt. Just had one lying around in a fixings tray. That's why you should always keep old bolts if you can. Perfect. Right, started her up. Indicator seems to be working now. Rear. Brake light. Sweet, I think she's all good. It's less smoky now. Let's put the choke, should be off. Right, I've just taken the headlight off. There's no bulb in there, so I just need to go and get a new bulb. And I think that'll be the final thing. New bulb in, look at that. We've got the light. Let's see if the flick over. Yes, perfect. MOT ready. Just pop this cover back on as well. Good news, she's passed the MOT. Seems to be running lovely. I must say, I do like it. Good fun. So I've got quite a few plans with this bike. I'm going to be stripping it back down to its bare frame at some point and make a few modifications so it's a bit quicker, and also just make the bike look a lot nicer. I'm not too sure about what colour to go for yet. I'm thinking along the lines of grey, but I do quite like the blue. A few days later, I got a blowout on the QT50, meaning I needed a new tyre. However, I went the full hog, stripped down the whole bike into parts. I didn't get any footage of this, unfortunately, but as you can see here, everything was laid out across my floor at home, ready for the local powder coaters, who shot blasted and powder coated the bike for me. I'm quite surprised at how many parts I actually got powder coated here. You can see there's like loads of bits. And I've got the exhaust shot blasted and also the forks, because there's no point powder coating that. That needs to be high temperature paint. I'm going to do it myself. They didn't do the forks in the powder coaters because I didn't strip them back enough, so I'm going to hand spray them myself. But let's get these bits opened and see exactly how they look. Now this looks absolutely amazing. Absolutely love this colour, and I absolutely love the word absolutely. just looks so nice. So this is the dusty grey. I'll put the rail number up here somewhere, left or right, so you can all copy me if you fancy it. You can see, because I've got all like the bike rack at the rear, got that in matte black, all the wheels in matte black, everything pretty much in matte black, frame and that tank in dusty grey. And this is like the exhaust shield. I'm not too fussed about that and the exhaust because, like I said, I'm going to be hand spraying that bit anyway. So this is the handlebars, the rear light. I think I'm going to have to spray that silver because they've done the inside, but it's not a problem. This is the foot pegs. This is the bike stand. Wheels. Quality of the finish is absolutely top notch. Yeah, can't wait to get it all back together. One job I've been waiting to do for ages is get these matte black stickers on the frame. I can't wait. I'm just going to get on with it and do it now. One thing I didn't mention is this lovely saddle which my mate James has done for me. I'm well happy with how that's turned out. Although it does look like a very dark cross on, it looks much better than it was before. This is one job I've been waiting to do for ages. Is get these matte black stickers on the frame. I can't wait. I'm just going to get on with it and do it now. One thing I didn't mention is this lovely saddle which my mate James has done for me. So I'm going to show you the clips on that as well in this because I'm well happy with how that's turned out. Although it does look like a very dark cross on, it looks much better than it was before. Right, so I don't know if you can see in there, but basically the tank is rusty, and what I'm going to do is fill it up with vinegar. I've got a matching bucket just by chance, and I'm going to fill it up with vinegar, leave it in there for 24 hours, and yeah, should hopefully, look at that, fits perfect. should hopefully come out alright. Not sponsored by Tesco, by the way. Have a look at the rust in this. That's just out of the oil compartment. Absolutely minging. I've already emptied this one. It's got loads, and I'm going to empty this big one now. Oh, look at that. Now, I don't know if you can see, basically, here is the engine. I've just been taking it apart. Now, you can see I've just got bits everywhere of this bike. It's literally just filling my garage up now. But what I'm doing is using some engine and parts degreaser. Now, this spray is from Halfords. I paid like $3.99 for it. All I'm doing is covering the engine in it, leaving it for 10 minutes. I'm going to get a brush it down, and then obviously most of the grease should just start to come off. You can see underneath it, it's absolutely caked in crap. So this will just basically dilute it a bit, and then just get a brush and water. I've got some tap water here in a bottle. Just going to make sure I don't go too heavy-handed with the water, because obviously it's going to get inside of the engine if you're not careful. I've just taken the oil pump out as well, and yeah, so there's a few exposed holes. Another thing with this engine on the bike as well is I took the exhaust bolts out of the cylinder head the other day, and guess what, they snapped, as you can see there. But it's not a big deal, because I'm going to do a little trick on that later on. Oh, and a little tip here, anyone who's going to do the same to a small engine, I'm using a basically a tray for painting and decorating, just using that. Just got an old one, just so the oil don't go all over my lovely new workbench which I've made. So yeah, and the workbench is made out of tongue and groove. I've got an 8x2 sheet of that, and some carpenter's horses just to keep it upright. It's coming up loads better already, but you can see like under here on the stand there's just so much grime. It is absolutely minging. But I'm just going to start just scraping it all off with a knife, but I'm using the blunt side of the knife just because I don't want to scratch anything. This is a sort of thing really a wire brush could be used for, but it would probably ruin the wire brush at the same time. Also a bit of foam, just a bit of cleaning foam, we'll just loosen up a load of it as well. Right, no wire brush, but I found this. This will do the trick, perfect. To make life a little easier, I just took the drive shaft off. I'm going to have to cover up the oil pump inlet because it is going to get caked otherwise. So, best thing I can put in there right now is one of these. That'll do the trick. Yeah, she's plugged. Should have probably put the strings in a little bit better. Don't worry guys, I know what I'm doing. I know there's a crankshaft in there and loads of other things. I just don't have any blue roll or anything in there right now. It's just to stop anything falling down there more than anything. Yeah, there we go, perfect. See, this is what 31 years worth of crap looks like. It's probably not seen daylight since 1990, this engine casing. It's absolutely caked. Like, so I'm just getting the blunt side of the knife on there because it really does need more than just a brush on that, unfortunately. I'm not sure if it's covered in dog shit like the foot pegs were or what, but that is horrible with an O. Look at it. Quite satisfying though. I think this is going to be the dirtiest job out of all of it. I can't wait to get it all painted and stuff, the whole thing. It's just going to need it. Right, so the top of the engine's done. Taking the mask out, flip the engine, draining all the oil out. and then I'm going to take this stand off. I think it's best I clean that separate because it's just getting in the way a bit. So I'm going to take that off and carry on. Stands off. Look how much crap has accumulated behind there. It's coming up so much better now. I've changed over to a bucket now and a toothbrush. It's gonna work it in all the little corners. The reason why I'm using this lovely toothbrush is because I've had it a few years and I no longer use it because I prefer the Oral-B ones. So this was just sat in my garage. I thought I've got a job for that. Bit overkill, I know, but it's better than going to the shop to buy another one. So I'm just going over it with some wipes now, just to get like these stubborn bits out. Just like, takes a little bit of work, but just take your time, it comes up nice. You can see here like the casing's looking really good now, so I'm quite happy with that. It's going to keep going around it, and like I say, once it's done, I'm going to do a nice little colour change on it, I think. Something satisfying about this foam stuff. This looks good, doesn't it? When it's like on, you just get the impression that it actually cleans up nice. Right, that's enough engine cleaning for today. Just going to let that sit for a bit. There's still some obviously little bits of grime and dirt need to get out. When I take the inlet manifold off, I can clean around that as well properly. But overall, it's looking a lot better than it was. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Good news, I've got myself some wire brushes. I'm going to clean the engine a bit more. I've got some engine paint which I'm going to use on like the casing and stuff like that. This goes up to 180 degrees, got it from Halfords. And then I also got this stuff, very high temperature VHT black paint. So this is for like exhaust and manifolds and like stuff like that. I'm probably going to use it on the let's move that out of the way, on the cylinder head as well, and the cylinder, because it will make it look quite nice. Now I'm having a bit of a change of how I'm going to clean the engine and what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this stuff, this wheel cleaner. It's going to go over it and spray it all over the engine, because this is really strong stuff. It's what you use on the old alloy wheels, so hopefully it should do the job. Pour some water over it now. Just rinse it. Excuse the seagulls. So what I'm going to do now with this is just go over it and give it a good once over with this. See how much more needs cleaning off. There you go, the engine is looking a lot cleaner. I've got to spend a little bit more time on the head and the cylinder, but the actual casing is looking really good now. Pretty chuffed for that. Starting to sand down the casing because there's quite a bit of bubbling going on, and if you can see it, look. So you're going to take that off, ready for its first coat. Right, it's that time to give it a nice spray now. So today I'm going to be changing the bearings inside the drive shaft of my Yamaha QT50. First thing I'm going to do is pop these 3 screws out here. This needs sanding and painting. This also wants painting. I've taken the other side off. Look at the state of it in there. And then I'm going to change all the bearings, because this is where the rear wheel connects to, and it's done quite a few thousand miles, so it's only fair that I'm replacing. Right, so first thing, all I'm going to do is just pop them 3 screws out there. I'm being lazy today, using my impact driver. I did loosen them off a little bit before recording, just so I didn't make a fool of myself. But look, that's got a little gasket there. And then if I turn this around, this is where the rear wheel basically slides onto. Let's take all this off. You can see one bearing there already poking through, and that just lifts out like that. So this is the actual driving gear. There's the pinion inside here. There's a load of grease in there already, but what we're going to do is pop all of those greasy, dirty bearings out and get them swapped over both sides. Now, to crack the bearing out the other side, I'm going to stick a little flathead just down through here, and then I'm going to hit it with my hammer. Look, she's nearly there. Just need to keep hitting. One take, one take. I should really be doing this on a prop, but there we go. She's out. Got rid of her. Right. I wish they were all that easy to get rid of. Right, next bit. Let's get this bearing out. I think I might use something a bit bigger for that. Right, now to release this bearing, there's 2 nuts here which are like covered in grease. I've just got to take them out, and then I'll be able to hit that out. So what I'm going to do now is turn this over and then give it just a little tap. It ain't going to need much. Where's my hammer gone? There we go. Who says bearings are hard to change? Nice and easy. So what I'm going to do next is clean the inside of that little chamber out. Get her nice and clean, ready for the new bearings. Bit of WD won't harm it. Gonna run that around the inside. Looks like my can's getting a bit low. Oh, here she comes. Right, lovely. Bit of blue rag in there. Just make sure there's no dirt, grime, or anything that shouldn't be in there hanging about in that hole. Other side as well. Make sure it's all free. Let's clean that up nice as well. We'll leave the old grease in there. I don't think it's going to do any harm. With old lithium grease. Here's the new bearings. They're 6202s. I've got these online. Really good company actually. And they were so much cheaper than getting them from America. I mean, in America, for some reason, they're charging like £20 a bearing, but I managed to get these for like £3.50 for like each one, and they're premium quality as well. So I'll slap them in there now. Just going to run a bit of lithium grease around the inside. That'll do you. That'll do you, mate. And then. Oh, look at that. Absolutely brilliant. These are sealed, these ones, so they don't, to be honest, I'm still going to seal it around the outside with grease. You can never have enough, can you? But that's that one. And then if we do the other side too. And I don't know if you noticed, but these are actually sealed bearings. So they don't actually need greasing in between the runners. But very nice nonetheless. Gotta let that grease up nicely. There we go, she's in there like swimwear. Use 120 grit on that, get it down to the right smoothness. For the first time in a long time, I actually can't be arsed today. It's too cold. I've painted this, but it's never going to dry properly. This doesn't want to settle. 2 big boxes of bits that need sorting. I just can't be arsed. Right, it's time to get the engine back together again. I painted the head and the cylinder. I'm always going right to left when I say that. So that's all done. And what I've gone and done as well, because I'm I would say thorough, but a bit obsessive, I think. So to make my life a lot easier, I couldn't find any spray paint. I found this gloss paint, actual like paint, you know, with a brush. So instead of me keep doing more and more coats forever and ever, any little imperfections that I see once I put it back on the bike, what I'm going to do is get my brush like that and give it a little brush over. But apart from that, it's actually looking pretty wicked. Can't wait, because Halford's actually sold out of the spray paint one and I couldn't find it, so I was like, nah. I've got this little brush as well, so what I'm going to do with that is paint all the nuts and bolts once they're on the bike, because I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours painting nuts and bolts. There is an easy way of doing it, which I can show you quickly. Like, you stick them through cardboard like that and spray the heads, but I'd rather just paint them on once on the bike. Put a little bit of grease around there, so when I lay the shaft spindle, it's all greased up without dropping the shaft on the floor, because I'm always trying to do things one-handed whilst filming. Get the kickstart on. Lovely. Absolutely grantastic. Got some choke and carb cleaner. Just want to clean the carb out because it's filthy. Just give that a nice spray in there. That's it. Get a bit of blue roll. Wipe her out a bit. Strong old gear that. I'm also going to spray the bottom of the reeds, because you can see it's gathered a lot of dirt and stuff. Right, so I've got the bolts. Oh, let me clean this camera. Right, so I've got the bolts ready to put the drive shaft back to the engine. Now, you can see here that I've cleaned them, but they're still a bit rusty, so to get rid of that, what I'm going to do is stick a bit of WD inside each thread hole, so when they go back in, it won't rust anymore. I think I might stick you this side for a change. You can see I'm a bit of a messy worker. It's just, I can't help it, it's just the way I am. I like to have everything everywhere. It's probably driving a few people mental watching this. However, see, can't even find my gloves. That's exactly how I am. I've tried not to be like that, but it seems near impossible. slide on nice and easy, and then all I'm going to do is hand tighten each bolt with the spring washer until it's sort of holding itself. As you can see, it's got this grey plastic sheathing around it. I personally do not like it. I think it's going to stand out like a sore thumb. So what I'm doing, I'm going over it. I bought this special wrap, it's basically a wiring loom wrap. Bought it on eBay. Just literally going to go around all of the grey, and you know, anywhere I think it needs redoing as well, like here, then I'm going to redo it. And yeah, basically just tidy it up, make it look a lot nicer. Now you can see here that the quality of that is so much nicer. You're probably wondering, why didn't I just cut this off and wrap it? Well, thing is, this is going to be exposed as well, so obviously I'd rather just give it a bit more added protection. So I don't want to you know, let the cables have any chance of getting water ingress and whatnot. So by putting this over, it just makes it look a lot better, feel a lot better, and give it that added protection. Now I'm going to use a Stanley knife just to cut the end off. There you go. And that should just stick back nicely. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is just inspect the actual loom itself. Like you can see here, this is exposed. I've just got some normal black insulating tape for that. This part of the loom will be inside the frame, so it doesn't matter too much aesthetically what it looks like. However, I still want to make sure it's all good, because here I noticed, you can see it's sort of like, I don't know if that's been burnt out or something. Something looks a bit dodgy there, so I may well have to expose that and just see what's happened. And then I'm going to cover all that again with this lovely wrap. See, this looks like it's been having fun. We've got a bit of like oxidation there on this cable, and then in here I think that's just, I believe, is that a diode? It looks like it could be a diode, but I'm going to have to expose it all just to double check it, because the last thing you want is any electrical shorts. It looks like it is a diode, so, but still that needs cleaning up, so I'm going to have to cut that back and expose it. Right, very good news. That diode looks like it hasn't set itself on fire. It's just got very hot. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to get some contact cleaner and basically go over this just to make sure it's all nice, and then put it back together and then wrap it. But yeah, it's good news that it's not had any heavy damage or anything like that. Just going to put a bit of switch cleaning lubricant. That's the technical name, look. One more tape. Just get rid of that oxidation. There you go. It's looking brand new. Let that run through. Just leave that like that, and then I'm going to re-insulate it with this electrical tape. Then I'm going to probably put a bit of wrap over it, just so it's got no chance of moving about. And there we have it. That's all that repaired. So I'm just going to go over the rest of it now, where anything's exposed, and just give it a bit more black tape. So that's the wiring loom covered. Look at that, it looks so much better than it did before. I'm going to clean all of the contacts now, just so when I put it all back together, there's not going to be any connection. This stuff again, the old switch cleaning loom. Normally there's a straw with this, but I can't find it, so I'm just going to have to aim it correctly. So that, my guys and girls, is all ready for fitting now. I'm sure that's going to do. Doing a bit of work on the indicators, so bit different this. I thought I'd put a bit of the wrap which I was using on my electrics to cover up the chrome. I don't like the chrome. I'm going to obviously take the rust off. Took the rust off this one. I'm just going to wrap that round here. I may even do a little bit of a colouring on the side here, but it's just to cover it up really, and also do the cables in it. I'm proper loving this stuff. I mean, look how nice it makes it look compared to that. Hey, okay, I've got my brass brush. Just going over it, get rid of all the rust. Once that's done, she can be wrapped. You go, look, just have a look at this. I mean, this is just with a little go of the brush. It comes up so much better. Get in there, look at that, shining. Someone's hit a wall or something with that, look. It's proper scuffed up. Let's try and get that off. Bit of petrol on a rag. That'll sort it out. That's a bit better. The only thing is it's got a crack on it, this lens. So it's definitely been smashed hard. When I bought the bike, this is how the junction box was, and it was just floating above the frame. It was awful. So I bought a new one here. Got that on eBay. And I've also got this rubber cover to go over it. So I'm taping up the cable with that lovely stuff I love, and then I'm going to put it through the rubber into a nice new junction box. And the cable grommets need spraying as well. Right, just about to take off in here. The washing machine's going. Basically, what I'm going to do now is put my nicely, neatly wrapped wiring loom and the brake cable for the rear brake, and also the choke cable. That was it, the choke. That was the word I was looking for. So I'm going to get these through the frame. I've still got to get the throttle cable through the frame. However, the last person that owned the bike basically had a shorter throttle cable and it was exposed on the frame and it just looked awful. So I've got to get a correct size one for that. Now to get the harness and the cables through the frame, I'm going to use this flexi rod. Push that through, tape the cables to the end. Bob's your auntie. Black tape, side cutters. Right, so as you can see, that is the wiring loom through the frame. It was a little bit fiddly, and you'll notice that I put bubble wrap on the floor halfway through because I didn't want to scratch the frame of the bike. I'm not worried about my floor, however. But yeah, That's basically it. Just got to push that through these little clips in here, bend down, and yeah, it'll be good. Onto the cables after that. Right, we've got something a lot nicer to look at now, and that's me. No, only joking. Basically, I've got some rim tape here, heavy duty motorcycle tube, and in a minute you're going to see the bad boy Maxxis tyre that's going to go on here. So firstly, let's get the rim tape on, then the inner tube, then the tyre. I made a bit of a mistake at the powder coaters. They shouldn't have powder coated inside here, but mistakes do happen. Got to get these bearings out as well because I want to change them. Right, so basically in here we have got a nice rim tape. This one for my wheel is for, I think, is it 2.25 to 2.5 by 14 inch. So what I'm going to do is put the where the inner tube valve goes. I'm going to start with that side on the wheel. Oh, bubble wrap's going. At least it's not a flat tyre head. So just going to gently ease that all the way around, and then just going to make sure it's above all the screws inside of the rim for the spokes, because basically what's going to happen is, if you don't cover them properly, you're going to get a puncture. So you can see here, look, see, that's going to sit in there nice and tight. Up against, oh, there goes the cam, up against the screws. Too much bashing around. So that's in there nice and neat. Now we're going to get the inner tube out. I don't think there is a rotational way on these. I did look for like arrows and things like that, but there didn't seem to be one. So my guess is that there isn't. Tried fitting those tyres. I thought, you know what, that is a difficult job. I thought, I don't want to ruin the rim, so I'm going to find someone who can do it. There's a few bike shops near to me, so I'd rather just pay someone to do it. I did think, well, give it a go, but ain't gonna happen. Now, it turned out both the tyres that I bought for this, one was 14 years old and the other one was 8 years old. So I returned them for a full refund and purchased another set. Be careful of this, make sure your tyres have the correct dates on them. I then took them to my local motorcycle garage and got them guys to fit them, because these are a nightmare to get on without the correct machinery. Just picked the wheels and tyres up. They're the right nightmare fitting them, but they're on. They look really good. I'm going to show you in a sec. So here's the wheels and tyres. All on, looking great. Can't wait to get them on the bike to actually take them out and see how they handle. Now, if you've got a QT50 and you're wondering what size these are, they're 60 by 100-14s, which I believe is equivalent to 2.50/14. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, well, second thing, because the first thing I did do was grind all of the paint off of the hub, so obviously the drum will be able to get in there no problem. Now I'm going to clean the inside of this because I'm going to fit new bearings. Right, this one was being a fanny, so I had to use 2 hands and no camera on that. I just literally tapped it in, took it back out, and then just kept tapping it. It's in though, in there like swimwear. Make life a little bit easier, I'm going to just rub the actual bearing in grease, as opposed to putting it in the hub this time. There you go. That's it, give it a little bit of grease like that. Beautiful. Right, obviously, when I got the forks and the exhaust back from the blasters, they didn't spray them. I only asked them to blast them, so I'm going to prime them up, because if I leave it too long, they'll start rusting. So I've got to get that done now. Looking back on this, it's quite frustrating to see the stanchions were shot blasted by the powder coaters. They should have known better. However, I made the best out of a bad situation and painted them. So if ever you do this, remove the stanchions first and then let them have their wicked way. I've got to do some VHT paint on the exhaust because that's been blasted as well. On the day of painting this, it was pretty cold outside. Ideally, you want to be painting your exhaust in a nice, stable temperature. Quite warm, not too cold, but yeah, welcome to England. Right, these have been sat for about 2 or 3 days now. I totally forgot about them, so I'm going to take them out of the box, put them on the blue roll, and see what the finish is like after leaving them in vinegar. Vinegar is just like magic, isn't it? Look at that rust. Just coming off nice and easy. Beautiful. Just going to give them a nice little scrub down and leave them on the blue roll. Alright, these bits have come out a lot better. They're not perfect by all means, but compared to what they were before, they're a lot better. All the nuts and bolts are nice and clean now as well. So I'm quite happy with that, to be fair. Can't expect it to be, you know, much better, but they are, at the end of the day, they are 30-year-old. 31 years old. So, yeah. After removing the vinegar, I let all of the nuts and bolts sit in bicarbonate soda for 20 minutes to prevent flash rusting. Time to get the lovely powder coated matte black stand on now. Just got to line these up here and then give her a little tap to get it on. On. Let's leave the GoPro there. Bet you that'll go flying, but if it does, it should be okay, because we've got a rubber mat, so it should be alright. Look at that, tight as a glove, mate. How lovely. Let's move a few of these tools out of the way so you can get a better glimpse of it all. Look at that. Can't remember if there's one to go on this side now. I'll double check that. Oh yeah, looks like there is. Bit of WD on that one as well, straight through. The sheared exhaust bolt did not want to come out. Well, my Torx bit, the little trick I used, didn't work. Torx bit snapped inside, so I'm just going to take the head and the cylinder off and put a bore kit on. Now's my chance. Got the joys of sliding the head out now. So that's good. Look at the top of the piston, it is black. I'm not even sure if it's had any oil going to that, is it? Only being sarcastic, it's had way too much. Right, that's the cylinder off. Gave it a tap with the old rubber mallet. Not too hard, just enough to get it out. I hit it downwards, because if you hit it sideways you could end up damaging the crank. You don't want to do that, do you? Right, that's the top end off. Got the piston out, the gudgeon pin, and then we've got the other bearing in there that needs to come out. Just pull the crank back up. Knock that out. There we go. So, I mean, it's not that bad. It looks like it's just had a bit of a score up here, but to be fair, it's in pretty good nick. Good old Yamaha though. They've done a good job. The reason why I'm wearing a mask is because that gasket potentially could be asbestos. I know this isn't a an actual PE3 mask or anything, but it's all been soaked in WD-40. so it's not like I'm cutting it up or anything. I'm just going to gently remove it. But yeah, that's about it for now. I'll just get these threaded rods out here, a bit of a pain. So what I'm going to do is a little trick. Wind on 3 bolts in total. Because they've got built on sort of like washers on them, I'm going to do them so they're facing each other. Obviously if you've just got normal nuts it's okay, no pun intended. And then I'm going to wind this one on. So I've got 3 nuts on there. Now what I'm going to do, get socket one end. So this is going to be like as if I'm tightening it up. And then I'm going to put my spanner as if I'm undoing it. Can't even speak today. So then what you'll see will happen now, the force will start to turn the threaded rod. There we go. So she is now free. I can undo that by hand. So I hope that helps you if ever you were trying to do that. If you're wondering how do you get the 3 nuts off in the end, put your spanner on the 2 and then socket on the other, hold them all into position. There you go. And now you can unwind them all. Nice and easy. Except that last one, that don't want to go anywhere. So in this box, got a bore kit. It's going to go straight on there. 60cc. Even got some new coil leads as well. Let's get it unboxed and have a look. In this box is the spark plug. It's going straight in the bin. Because there's no way that cheap Chinese thing's going on my bike. Right, cylinder, head, piston rings, gaskets, piston, all the bits in there, NGK spark plug and some bolts. Right, I'm going to fit the rings now. Just make sure that's facing down. So there's a little pin there. There you go. In there like swimwear. Right. That's the gudgeon pin in. So I'm going to fit the circlips now. You've got to be careful of these because they do just bounce all over the gaff. Oh, I don't know if I can get that in there. This is going to be... You just got to make sure it doesn't spring off down the road. Right, there's the circlips in, both sides. Ready to put the gasket on now. Gasket's tight. Head gasket going on. There we go. Put the old head on now. Beautiful. I'm using the original studded thread because I didn't like the look of the one that come with the kit. Beautiful. Right, that's the engine back together. I've just put the new HT lead on, so I'm going to mount the bracket for that back on. I've sprayed this matte black. It's a bit of a mixed match of colours going on this engine. I've got like a glossy black on the engine itself, and then we've got like a matte black on all the other little bits and the bike. but the most important thing is how it goes back together, not how it looks. Got to get the carb back on now. That's the next step. Got a line, there's a little guide there in the centre which lines up the centre of the carb. Alright, now I'm going to start putting everything back together. Get the frame back on the engine, and then forks, handlebars, wheels, and all the other little bits and pieces. Firstly, I better paint around all the bits that I removed whilst fitting these gaskets. Jeez. Bosh. Alright, so the frame is lightly mounted to the engine, and then I've got some new shocks to go on the back. Well, it's only one shock, but it's an adjustable shock. Let me get it out of the box and show you. So this bad boy is going to go straight on there, like that. Right, I'm going to have to sand down this because where it's been powder coated, I can't get the washer through for the suspension. Should slide through. I might just put a little bit of grease in there. Lower it down. Bit of a job getting this on. I like to change the I don't know what it is. This thing. Just swap it over. It's all going on hand tight before I tighten anything up. I've got to assemble the handlebars and forks. It's my worst part, this. Just dreading it. Well, I've got to put the bearings onto the race. Now, it's going to be a bit of a job because I've never done this before. Going to use some lithium grease because apparently that's what Yamaha recommends, and then just going to stick the ball bearings on after. Using a dirty glove to sit the grease like so. Just going to seat that inside without dropping them all over. So that should have the bearings all in now. how not to tighten a headset. So I'm going to get the handlebars on now. The headset is on. Just got to wind it through. Make sure the legs are facing out, like that. We'll get these old oil seals back on, so I'm just using a bit of super glue because they've been cut a million times, not by me but by the previous. There's one on, you can't even tell it's been cut really. The glue I've used is pretty strong. This stuff's like, I don't know, it's just industrial grade. Seems to do the trick just fine. What I'll do, so you don't obviously see the slit, well, you can hardly see that anyway, I'm going to turn it to the inside of the forks because obviously it's going to be covered by the wheels. Alright, so that's the oil seals back on. The previous owner cut this rack down. This is a little bit too long, so I'm going to hacksaw all of that off because I cannot have a mix and match going on. So just draining the gear oil. It's like, this was like the last droplets from the other day when I sprayed the engine. I emptied it all, but I just thought I'd do the last bit now while the bike's been sat upright for a day. Bosh. Bit of bright colour. So got the fuel line on, looks really good, that, into a new filter, straight into the carb. And then now I'm just going to put the choke into the carburetor. So this is basically just got to go in there. Just replaced the brakes. Now, I didn't film that. It's just a bit of a weird job. Never done that before. It's got this weird little spring, you just put it on. I don't know. It's there though. I'd just like to say, I'm very impressed with how this has come out. And we're not even finished. Getting the seat prepped now, ready for the bike. Lower that in. Oh, I think I need a longer socket for that. Nope. There we have it. There's the saddle. What a seat. It's currently 8 PM on a Monday evening. It's been snowing. It's like -2 out there. I just love getting things done, do you know what I mean? So, come in here, get stuff done. we've come across the first problem. So release it off of its stand and it hits the wheels. Oh no, these tyres are too damn big for this bike. Don't know what to say about that. Might have to quite a difficult one. I ain't really got a lot of options there. Hopefully I'll be able to find some sort of side stand. I'm going to make the most of the stand while it's on though. Start getting these bits back on the bike, just so I don't have to worry about this later on. See this, look, it's got a little tab that just lines up like so. So that's how the brake assembly goes on. Look how much easier that is. A little bit of lube. Beautiful. Bit of indicator action now. Oh, light come on, that's good news. Hold up, I wasn't finished there. I still had to fit the mudguards. Now, it was a squeeze getting the tyres on, let alone the mudguards. So, as you can see from the photos, the rear one wasn't perfect, but overall, you get the idea. The bike looked fantastic when it was finished. So here's a little walk around of the QT50, and as you can see, I still hadn't finished with the mods. I fitted an MLM performance exhaust, which, believe it or not, did make the bike go an extra few miles per hour more. Oh dear. Oh, few bumps. The noise and the smell. You've never smelled out a two-stroke.